If you have questions or suggestions for future podcasts, please submit them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The soul of a nation. Hi, I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. President Biden gave a speech recently addressing the soul of the nation. President Biden said in part, the soul is what makes us, us. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't. The soul is a singular, not a plural term. Now, one of the first definitions of the soul is the spiritual part of a human being that is immortal. Another definition more specifically says it has to be in an individual life. Now, based on that definition, the nation does not have a soul. One theologian goes as far as to say that the word soul means the individual. There are at least 95 citations for soul in the Bible. One of the verses I use the most in Christian economics includes the term soul. In Matthew 22:37 through 39, Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." That second commandment forms the heart of free market economics, because it's only in free markets that we can love others and ourselves at the same time. Now, my PhD dissertation was on U.S.-Russian joint ventures. I visited Russia a few times and know something about the Russians, although I should not be considered an expert on Russian culture. I'm fascinated by the phrase, the Russian soul. Now, I tend to think it has something to do with the inner strength that I see in the babushkas, which is a demographic of middle to older aged women who tend to control the culture in Russia. Now, I don't have much evidence on this, but I think Russia withdrew from Afghanistan because babushkas protested the death of their young sons in a meaningless war. But I digress. Oh, I would also say there's something in the Russian soul that grows out of centuries of struggle, both physical, emotional, and economic. Often when counting people aboard a ship, they will say 2,000 souls on board. Now, why did they use that phrase? Well, because they often refer to passengers and crew as different categories, but they all have souls. If something terrible happens, I should say, they want the rescuers to know how many people to look for. Does a country have a soul? So what about the American soul? Do we have one? Well, there is no American people group. There are Russian people, there are German people, there are French people, and even Native American people. But there is no American people group. We are all immigrants or the descendants of immigrants. President Biden was correct in his speech when he said, America is an idea. He's right. America is not a people, it is an idea. It's an idea that anyone from any people group can get in on by stating their agreement with the American idea. Now, what is that idea? Dennis Prager says the idea is contained on the coin in your pocket or purse. Liberty, in God we trust, and e pluribus unum. A country can have a culture and it can have societal norms, but it can't have a soul. President Biden tried to degrade e pluribus unum in his Soul of the Nation speech. He proclaimed there are people who support the soul and those who don't. Thus, he tried to change e pluribus unum into e pluribus pluribus. The Christian worldview. How about the Christian view of the soul? Well, we believe individuals have souls, but we don't believe there is a common nor a community soul. Perhaps the most mentioned painting in my Christian economics work is titled Light of the World by William Holman Hunt. When you see Jesus knocking at the door, you notice pretty quickly there's no handle on Jesus' side of the door. The door must be opened from the inside by fallen people like you and me. That's pretty astounding that God, the greatest being that anyone ever conceived of, gives humans like you and me the freedom to accept or reject the invitation of salvation. The importance of Hunt's painting is the idea that comes from Revelation 3:20, which says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." The point is, the individual must open the door. Your family can't open it for you, your pastor can't open it for you, and certainly your nation can't open it for you. It's an individual decision made by the one person who has a soul. There is no common soul. Did you notice that President Biden talked for 25 minutes about the soul of a nation, but used no scriptural references? So what's his assumption about the soul? Where did it come from? Seems like he has two fundamental differences with the Christian worldview. One, he believes there's a national soul, not an individual soul, and he believes the soul came from a human, not a divine source. Christians believe we individually have a soul and that its source is from our Creator. We have a soul because we are made in God's image. Abortion. What about the 63 million babies whose abortion was supported by the Democrat Party? Did they have souls? I was interviewed recently by Alan West. He and I have a lot in common. We're both Christians who love our country and we support a free market economy. That's three pretty big agreements. In a previous presentation, I heard him explain what I unpacked in podcast number 35 titled Black Lives Matter. Here it is. There have been 63 million abortions since the Roe v. Wade decision in 1973. Let's round that to 60 million to make the math easy. Blacks make up 13% of the U.S. population, but have 36% of the abortions. Let's round the 36% number to 33 to make the math easy. 33% of 60 million is 20 million black aborted babies since 1973. There are 42.5 million blacks alive in the U.S. Let's round that to 40 million to make the math easy. That means there are 40 million living blacks and 20 million dead from abortion. Thus, the following statement is a fact. The Democrat Party policy of abortion has reduced the U.S. black population by 1/3. Sorry if you voted for a Democrat and your feelings are hurt. These are just facts. And that abortion is a Democrat Party policy is more clear today than it ever has been. Now, way back in April of 2017, Democratic National Party Chairman Tom Perez said there is no room in the Democrat Party for pro-life candidates. That was repeated multiple times by Democrat presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg in 2020. I had more to say about abortion in podcast number 126, titled The Economics of Abortion. Open borders. Now, when Sergei Seidamatov and I wrote Biblical Economic Policy, we found 10 biblical commandments of economics. Number 10 is honor those in power. That is, when they follow the law. The law is not being followed at our southern border today. It is estimated that this lawlessness will allow 3 million people to enter the United States illegally just this year. For more details on the Christian economics view on this, I'll refer you to podcast number 77, where I decry what I call a country without borders. Here's some facts for today. 1,200 people have died trying to cross the open border. Did they have souls? An estimated 90% of the illegal drug fentanyl comes across that southern open border, and it has killed 100,000 Americans. Did they have souls? The economics of a soul. Economics is defined as the production and distribution of goods and services in a scarce environment. If the country had a soul, would it be revealed in the way people produce and distribute goods? Is there an indication of the kinds of soul the country might have by observing the goods and services we make? See, borrowing the term soul from the religious realm should be expected from folks who tend to the socialist side of economics. That's because socialism is not based in Christian theology. So the socialists have to appropriate the term to make themselves seem righteous or holy or try to make some attachment with the creator of the universe. There is no soul in socialism. There is only power, as there was in President Biden's speech. I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. Fear God, tell the truth, earn a profit. See you next time. For more information, please visit us online at davearnott.com. If you have questions or suggestions for future podcasts, please submit them online or in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.